Hello and welcome to the International Leadership Series of Relounge from Dubai. Today we have with us a stalwart from the banking industry, Mr. Saxena. Saxena is Head of Retail, Digital and Marketing at Commercial Bank of Dubai. Thank you so much for joining us today, Mr. Saxena. If I may ask, how did the journey start?
Well, I think life has a strange way of taking people different places.
Sure.
And, not everything goes as planned.
Right.
I think when you come out of a program, I think everybody wants to be the CEO in a few years.
Right.
And then somewhere along the way, life takes us different locations, different places. So, the way I look at it is just to be grateful and happy, where look at the glass as more than half full.
Okay.
Yeah, there are always people, ahead of you, and there'll always be people behind you. So wherever you are, enjoy the ride and accept what you have and be grateful. Yeah.
Sure. And how did marketing happen to you? Was it out of choice? Or
Yeah, the way I looked at it was I wasn't terribly fond of numbers,
Right.
to be honest with you. And I always said all my IIT friends would obviously do much better in finance and all the CAs and everything. So might as well choose something that, I was always a people's person and I enjoyed, understanding working with human behavior. So it's just that as a field that appealed a lot more to me. I mean, even though I haven't done classical marketing, I don't do it hands-on anymore for the last 15, 20 years. I think you move on, but it's been great.
Right. And how has the function changed, the marketing function changed?
No, I would say it's changed radically. See, the principles don't change because you're dealing with human beings, right? So it's basically understanding what human beings are about, influencing them, finding them what makes them tick, etc. So if you look at it, the basic human qualities don't change, but the medium and the way you reach out to them, changes. And I'll just give you an example. When we started off, you could have, let's say, for example, you undertook research, and then the research took 2-3 months for it to come, and in the meantime, you'd plan your campaign, and then you'd release a campaign, and then again you'd do posts. So the whole process could be, anywhere from 6 months, right? So, and they're all different people. So you have market research agencies, you'll have an ad agency, you'll have, promotion agencies, you'll have various people, along the thing, and again research. So there were 4 or 5 people. Today, the single largest media company is Google, and they can do it all for you, every piece of it, real time, online, and nobody can do it better than them. So, except for the creative part, which is different, I would say it's changed. So traditional marketers, I'm saying this is the communication part of it. But of course, understanding from a larger perspective, I don't think strategy changes, right? So you still have to look at the environment, you look at competition, you look at, your own company, what your capability, what products, you look at trends. So any of the classical principles of, understanding, environment, customers, people, growth, all that doesn't change, okay? Segmentation, but typically, what you will find is because people have become more affluent, they have more choices. I think media has changed. If there's any good thing about the internet is that it's sort of equalized the whole world. Today, you don't necessarily have to go to a top campus only to have access. Those were the days where you were in a library and there were X number of copies. So before an exam, you'll always find some smart aleck who's taken all the books, and sometimes even the page would be torn. It doesn't matter anymore. If you really want to study, or if you want, the internet is available. Information is available to everybody. So today it's how you use that information and, what you do to it. So I would say people, traditional marketing, you've done all of it. Like I said, some basic principles don't change, but the mechanics and consumers have changed dramatically. So I think you've got to understand that.
And you also had the digital...
Yes. See, what we've got to understand today is, I think the faster we, understand is that the whole world is and will get digital. Okay, so traditional books, etc., might remain. There's a different flavor to it, but digital means being connected, real time, online, omni-channel, and it's about changing the way you do business. So, typically today you could very well be in any part of the world and still be a global player because the internet makes it available for everybody, right? So, it's changed completely the way you do business, and so from a market reach perspective, from a way of changing how quickly you can get accessible. Today in banking, it's basically banks are just technology companies in the business of banking. So understanding customers real time. I mean, we have tons and tons of data. I know exactly how much money comes into your salary account, where you use your card, whether you're traveling, whether you're this, how many people are there, how many supplementary cards you have, home loans. All that data is available. So it's more about, the better banks are the ones who are savvier in terms of understanding data, analytics, and there's a lot of cost saving in digital because you eliminate paper, you make processes faster. So digital is not just mobile. I mean, people tend to have this very limited view that any internet. It's about transforming an entire organization. Okay, and you do that. So if you just make one part of it, which is the mobile or the website, look very pretty, that's like putting what I say lipstick on a chimpanzee. Might made it look better, but the behavior is going to be the same. When you get digital, you look at end-to-end customer journeys. You understand what the pain points are. You fix them along the way, and it's an iterative process. So today, you don't look at, nobody makes, in the old days, used to devise a system and say, this is what I want. And, today things work so fast that you work in an agile methodology. Things change very fast. You iterate. So it's a mindset. So I don't think any organization that's not digital will not survive. So it's just one of those things that it's an extra mandate and it's critical. I look after the retail business, so digital and marketing are two amongst all the other things. But I lead the initiative within the organization because it affects me the most.
Right. And in terms of social media, the entry of social media into marketing, how has that changed?
It has changed, you've got to understand the segments. So basically, I don't think anybody is not exposed to social media, but it's just that there are different generations. We're part of an older generation. So we look at social media, like I might consume it maybe 30 minutes a day, 40 minutes a day because we do have, but the millennials, so it depends on the segments that you operate in. So for millennials, it's much more important because their whole lives revolve around it. I mean, simply put, if there's an important document, if it's very important, and I have to give a lot of inputs, I would probably print it out and, make some comments in pen. My kids don't bother about printing anything, right? So they live in a completely different world. They don't want too much of contact. The different generation. So there are different strategies for each segment, right? So in banking, when you start off in life, you don't have so much money. So the money is with the older segment. But even they are digital. I mean, today, large owners, everybody understands technology. It's how much you spend. So social media has different, you have to utilize different aspects of it for different people. And it depends on your strategy. So it's not one size fits all. For a younger audience, it's critical. For an older audience, it's essential. But it's not that you can't reach them without... and it depends which market you operate in. We're in Dubai. Okay, I mean, see, you're not in the US where there are huge distances and the climate is extreme and winters become terribly cold and people don't want to go out. Here the sun shines brightly throughout the year. Okay, distances are not much, and culturally, this area people love to talk face to face. So call centers, interaction, those are still dominant. So I'm saying, it's now become an inclination, so it has its role, but I think, it's not that, online sales, online marketing, all of that happens, but it varies in degree, proportion, depending on how evolved, and Dubai, I'd say, is much more involved because the government itself leads digital transformation. They themselves set the benchmark. I mean, it sometimes makes you wonder, you know, and we're very blessed to have very benevolent leadership here. I mean, who could imagine that this city was sand 20 years ago? You know, it competes with the best in the world now. So,
sure. So, in terms of technology in this region, what is your take on how far we progressed from where we were maybe 10 years ago?
You know, good or bad, I think this region, you know, has been blessed with, at least earlier on, with oil. So it's very affluent as such. The average per capita income here is higher than everywhere else. And it's in the middle of the West and the East. So it's very close to, you know, the UK. Anyway, it's just 8 hours. It's not that far. So it's very, and if you look at it, Dubai has over 200 nationalities. So people from all over the world come in here. So I would say that the inclination to technology or the aspiration, and it's also led by the government. So what tends to happen is, see, it's not like in India where you have maybe 1.3 billion people, right? Some of us, we constitute probably 5% of the Indian population, right? So a lot of them don't have, these problems don't exist in this part of the world. They're more affluent, but on the other hand, they also, I think, sometimes adopt technology because of wanting to adopt technology. There's not always a business case to justify those kind of investments. But you know, guess what? It works for Dubai. Dubai first builds and then hopes that people will come. And they come. So you can't, you know, I mean, I'll tell you this much, that if you go by classical wisdom, this city would never have been built.
Could you elaborate on that?
No, I'm just telling you, I mean, I'm proud of the fact that we live here, but you look at the roads, you look at the airport, the infrastructure is the best in the world. You know, it still hasn't got to the point of those large cities where you're in traffic for 3 hours. I mean, there's no joy in that. Okay, I mean, so you live very well, the homes, you have the best of technology, you have the best airports, you have the best airlines, you have the best hotels, you have the best of everything, the biggest mall, the biggest building, the biggest, right? So if one was to say, you know, estimate, nobody could have estimated that after building it today, people want to come here. So there's nobody who could have told you that if you build infrastructure like this, you will get this kind of business.